Eddie, I do want to be respectful of your time because I know that you've got a lot on and I'm incredibly grateful that you would chat to me today. But there's just two things I wanted to ask you quickly about. The first one is your incredible YouTube channel, and also secondly, your Australian of the Year award. So let's start with your YouTube channel. What has that experience been like? And my understanding is that there's close to 1.5 million people that are subscribed to your video. Is it strange being a YouTube sensation?
Yeah, it's pretty bananas. I mean, I often sort of look at the videos that are there and they're being watched whatever number of millions of times, and it's just kind of bizarre. I mean, I know you said when we were chatting before, and you're kind of like, I've got a podcast. I'm amazed that people who aren't just my mum are actually listening in. And I've thought exactly the same thing about my YouTube channel. I'm like, all these views, is that just my dad hitting refresh over and over again? And then you get to meet people who have said, like, this has been really helpful to me, which is just delightful. So when you ask, like, what has that experience been like? It's been humbling to know that, literally me just doing my job every day, but sort of, as it were, opening a door to my classroom so that, anyone on the internet can just walk in and benefit from. It's been delightful to know that that's been helpful to people, and, thinking about lockdown and, people around the globe who've, for some of them, this has been their best access to teaching and learning that makes sense to them and that they can understand. And that it just blows my mind. So I feel really, shocked and humbled by that. But it's something which, I want to keep on working on. It's part of why I love continuing to teach and sharpening my craft. I still have so much to learn. And I love that, being able to bring my students along for the journey, just, quietly. I think that's part of the secret about why people have found my channel engaging. It's because I generally have a bunch of 15 or 16-year-olds who are not a forgiving audience in front of me, and so if my lesson's not very good, they'll tell me about it. So that means that the content that ends up there is hopefully a decent quality. But for me, it's wonderful that a broad group of people can benefit from that.
It's real life, brutal feedback, isn't it?
100%, yeah.
You ever think that you would have a following that has amassed 1.5 close to million subscribers?
No, it's just...
That's immense.
Yeah. It's, even to me, a person who works with numbers a lot, that number I can't quite get through my head. For example, I teach at a large school. So Cherrybrook Technology High School is New South Wales' largest secondary school, 7 to 12. We've got 2,000 children who are, in our classrooms, and we are so large you can't ever fit everyone all together in one place when we've got a whole school assembly. The only time you see everyone together is when we do an evacuation drill. And the times you see that, you're like, whoa, 2,000 people, like it's just this mass of bodies. And to know that multiplied by many times over are actually every day getting to tune in is just, it truly boggles my mind.
Wow. It's really quite incredible. And have you seen an increase in subscribers and engagement since the pandemic? Has that sort of landscape shifted somewhat for you? Yeah,
what I've seen is not just an increase, but also a broadening of where those people are coming from. Mathematics is a universal language. And so, I guess I should be less surprised that, there's viewers from Australia, obviously, US, UK, India obviously has a lot of English-speaking people, and it's just, more than 1 billion people there. But it just amazes me that there's viewers in Greenland. I'm like, there's barely any people in Greenland, let alone people who are going to watch my YouTube videos. And it's quite funny. People who write in the comments, they're like, why is that Asian guy speaking in whatever that accent is? I find that hilarious. So for me, it's wonderful that there is broad appeal there and it can be useful to people, because mathematics is something which can be meaningful to people all around the world, no matter what culture they're from.
And I know you would probably never use this word to describe yourself, but was it strange? Is it strange to be a bit famous? Do you walk down the street and people sort of point and go, that's Eddie, or what's that experience like?
Yeah, you're right. You're right that I would never use that word because it just seems very strange. People do say hi, when I'm doing my grocery shopping, when I am, at the airport or something like that. In fact, even within my own school, because it's a large school, so 135 teaching staff, and as a consequence, most of the kids don't know who most of the teachers are because they just will not interact with them because that's the size of the place. But what's funny is, especially for the younger kids who come in, year 7s and 8s, they don't know me first as a teacher. They know me first from the ABC and the kids show that I hosted there. So I'm not Mr. Wu to them. I'm Eddie Wu. It's always the full name as well. They're like, look, there's Eddie Wu, which I find very cute. Sometimes I'm like, hey, we're at school. You should probably call me Mr. Wu. But it's always delightful to know that it's a positive experience of learning that they've gotten from me. So I think that's a win. I'm going to take it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what was it like becoming the Australian of the Year?
It was just bizarre. Like, I don't have any other words for it. In fact, I've had that experience a small number of times in my life where I just thought, this can't be real. This isn't happening, right? And I remember I was sitting there with my wife next to me, and the Prime Minister said my name, and it was just like I'd gotten into my head. I don't know if this is just because it was a coping mechanism or something like that, but all of the state and territory recipients for Australian of the Year awards, so there's 32 of us, were in Canberra, and we just got to spend 2-3 days getting to meet these incredible people. I remember someone I had a conversation with. I was sitting in a ceremony next to this person, and I said, oh, what are you here for? And he said, my dad is the recipient. He invented this thing. He's a cardiac surgeon. He invented this thing called the heart in a box. So you can, rather than live transplant, with two people lying next to each other, you can go into this chamber, this special thing. It will keep the heart alive for 24 hours. You can take it to wherever the patient is who's receiving the heart, and it's saved tens of thousands of lives. And then he said, so why are you here? And I was kind of like, I don't know why I'm here. And we were immersed in getting to meet all these people, and it was so easy to settle in my brain. I was like, yeah, this is not me. Look at all these incredible people I'm surrounded by. I'm just delighted to be in their presence. And so then to be named, and then to have the opportunity as, one of the Australians of the Year, to then go around the country and even go internationally, and to receive all of this honor, which I very much feel I don't deserve, but take on board as a representative of educators. I really feel like that's why people are happy to meet me, because I remind them of someone who taught them once upon a time, people we've talked about today, Matt, who meant a lot to them. And I just am delighted that I get to be a small part of society as a whole, being able to celebrate teachers in schools, because I think that's really important. It's something we all need.